So you may be looking to become successful in life, but how exactly do you do that? Well, my name is Marcus. This is Discover Ignite, where we discover possibilities, ignite change. And today I actually want to share a book with you guys that can provide you some good insights and get your wheels turning to become more successful. And the book I'm actually talking about, and the book I'm going to be reviewing today, is a book called The One Thing. So if you ever wanted to be successful in life, and I'm not just talking about in business or at work, but all those other things like relationships and just in your health and a bunch of different avenues in your life, how can you be successful? But how can you generalize that principle? Well, you have come to the right place, because this particular book pinpoints that almost exactly. Now, this particular book, I must say, is a book I had read maybe a couple of months back when initially, I believe it had come out, or I just ran across it and I read it, and it was a phenomenal read. Now, I don't recall a lot from the read. I do remember it being a fantastic book. And then somebody in one of my other book reviews had mentioned that they wanted a book review on it. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, I remember that book being a fantastic book, but you know what? It's been a while since I've actually read that book. So I downloaded the book again and I started listening to it, and I remembered why this book was so great. This book has some great principle and idea that you should always follow whenever you're trying to be successful at something, is just essentially taking that thing and finding the one thing you have to do on a daily basis, right? No matter what happens in life. Maybe, the sky is falling and the day is just gone garbage and you don't know what to do. You just got to execute on that one thing. Now, this one thing could be in health, it can be in relationships, it could be in any avenue, whether that's your career, whether that's in a business, whatever it is. You have to find that one thing that's going to get you to where you ultimately want to be. And one of the biggest things I do enjoy about this book is the fact that it breaks it down, right? Like, what is really a priority, right? Not everything is a priority. And the fact that you feel like you have to put out all these fires is just essentially busy work, right? You can essentially look like you might be busy, but you aren't actually executing on those things that really do matter, that can essentially push you apart from other people, right? And have you break away and allow you to grow a lot better by just executing on those things that really matter. And all the other stuff is just essentially noise that you can push aside and focus on that given time, that a lot of time that you have every day for that one thing that's going to essentially change your life. And it again goes into different things about how you should do this in every avenue in your life, right? Those 3 or 4 things that are really important to you in life, whether that's health, whether it's family, whether that's, again, your job, your career, personal development, anything like that, to just essentially find that one thing and execute on it daily. And it also brings a great point in the fact that a lot of people can execute a lot in 4 hours. And he brings up the example of Stephen King, about how Stephen King's day essentially was divided, how Stephen King said he would work his hardest in the first 4 hours of the day, and then the rest of the day he just essentially did whatever he wanted to do, right? And then that included hanging out with his family, that included, going out and watching Red Sox games, right? It really didn't matter, because all that mattered was that for those first 4 hours of every single day, he would write, and he wouldn't let anything interrupt that. And then after that, it was, whatever he wanted to do. And ultimately, I believe in that same model. I see how that really separates you, right? If you dedicate that time and then actually do what you're required to do in that 4-hour span, you can essentially cram a whole day in 4 hours. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do, is brainwash all that time, especially in the morning when your mind is most crisp and most refreshed, to be able to execute on new thoughts and ideas, and to be able to do that in those first 4 hours of your day on those things that matter most. And then everything else can come later on, right? You can enjoy yourself and sleep 8 hours and all that stuff, because that stuff really does matter. It's as long as you know that that one thing has to be done every single day, that you will become successful in that avenue. And in my own experience, you do have to tinker with that one thing, but you realize that focusing on that one thing really makes a lot of things a lot simpler, because a lot of times you are so much focused on just the chaos that's going on, right? On all the things that really don't even matter. Where if you could just depict that one little thing and focus on that, that's all that really matters, and all the other noise can just go away, and you can become extremely successful in these avenues. So that's why I believe this book is essentially just for everybody, right? Everybody can use a little bit more success in some aspect of their life. Even myself, I'm always working on different avenues in my life that I feel I need improvement on, and I aim for those specific things that I know I have to get done, and make sure that they're executed every single day. Because again, it comes into, as long as you're doing the majority of the time that one thing is getting executed, you will reap the benefits as long as you are doing that and making sure that gets executed no matter what. And so this book, again, I believe is for everybody. As far as like any cons to this book, I must say I didn't really have a lot of cons to this book. Now, I did read it through, I believe this is the second or third time. I might have read it twice after the first time I read it because I enjoyed it. And reading it the second or third time through, it's still good, but a lot of times a lot of the books I've been reading have been reiterating a lot of those same ideas, and creating these habits and finding that one thing, essentially being, self-aware of what that one thing is that you really need to focus on. But again, this book really depicts that great for anybody who hasn't really been into any kind of self-development books and is looking to be successful in life, because that's ultimately what we want to be. And this is a great place to start. And if it's something you're actually interested in, I will leave the book down in the description. And if you do enjoy this video, remember to hit the like button on the way out. Till next time, I will see you guys later.